Vice President Lund, Elizabeth Lund, confirms Boeing's 22-year gap. This Thanksgiving, flying Boeing could be a gamble. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Daryl Guberman. I've been involved with quality for over 40 plus years. My business, as of August 2026, I'll be involved 15 years. My background is composites, plastics, non-ferrous metals, aluminum, titanium alloys. I am a certified level 2 penetrant inspector and also a CQM, certified quality manager from Rensselaer. My experience is varied and myriad and everything else like that. I bring this to you because I am deeply troubled by many who have written me and said, Daryl, flying in a plane is so safe. Not when they skip quality processes or not do them at all. Not when they mandate, as Boeing did, suppliers in July 2002 to get AS9100 and must be ANAB accredited. Not when they put on their supplier portal where companies would go to find out how to be a supplier, that you must be, third-party registers must be ANAB accredited. And then what makes matters worse, or internationally equivalent. And those internationally equivalents that are equivalent to ANAB, ladies and gentlemen, Iran, who admitted to to harboring some of the terrorists of 9/11. Pakistan, who harbored Osama bin Laden. And then China, with cybersecurity issues and everything else. And China was given leadership in the IF, the International Accreditation Forum, which ANSI ANAB founded. The American National Standards Institute and the American National Accrediting Board founded the International Accreditation Forum in Delaware. And it was given to a Chinese communist national who's been involved with our quality since 1994. He at the time was also the chief executive of the China National Accreditation Services. And one of the saddest times ever, ladies and gentlemen, is that your registrar, ANAB accredited or international equivalent, who may be over here giving out a certificate, who the hell knows? Could be Iran, Pakistan, China. They're equivalent to ANAB. They never told you, suppliers, especially the veteran business owners, that your organization was being watched over by communist China, and this guy is mandated by his country of origin to take our data through the China National Intelligence Law, Article number 7, and here he is in Wuhan, China. He issued a certificate to an ill-prepared laboratory. That's all I'm going to say about Wuhan. Ill-prepared, because we know what happened to it, right? Boeing was made an agency of the FAA. You can't make that up in 2009. I don't want to go into that, elaborate. We want to get right to the crux of the matter, where even I was hoodwinked, I have to confess, that Boeing sat here on the Management System Accreditation Committee for 10 years between 2014 and 24. And Boeing can grant, suspend, and withdraw certification. But, the idiocy here is that nobody checked and said, well, this is conflict. I knew it was conflict of interest. That's why I started to take snapshots every year. Boom, boom. I took it 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And this was the last one I took because right over here, it's March 2024 because they took this webpage down because, of course, I'm talking about it, ladies and gentlemen. They don't want this to be out. They don't want the factor that if you're ANAB accredited, you have a fraudulent certificate, because it is. I don't care how many people they have. And you know why they don't come after me? Because they have federal agencies like the Department of Homeland Security, Department of Justice, Department of Commerce, and the FDA sitting there, not just as members, but as customers. Unbelievable. And this is conflict of interest, so I took snapshots of it. In January, actually June 27th, 2024, in a Reuters interview, Miss Elizabeth Lund, Vice President of Quality for the Boeing Company, said that Boeing was willing and prepared to get the AS9100 certificate. We go back to this. They hoodwinked me because you think they sit on this, that they're ANAB accredited. They have an AS9100 certificate. They not only hoodwinked me, but they hoodwinked their suppliers, actually mandated it. You've got to be AS9100, it's got to be ANAB accredited. They called them out on their supplier portal. They called them out on their OASIS database in 2003, the Online Aerospace Systems Information System, which was run by the International Aerospace Quality Group, who at the time was run 65% by Boeing. And they said, you cannot refuse to be put on this database, and you can't refuse to pay database fees. And then this, 2014 to 24, the suppliers, they just bowed their head down and took it. But the investors, Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street, and Fidelity all got scammed. They did. And I'm a shareholder. And I didn't bring it all together. I had the supplier bulletins from April and July. I took good snapshots of Boeing's supplier portal. I took snapshots of the Heads Up 22. I took it of them being made an agency of the FAA in 2009. I have all that data. And then I had this for 10 years. And this was the hinge pin. Wow, they must be AS9100 being on this, even though it's improper for the original equipment manufacturer to demand ANAB and sit on the ANAB Management System Accreditation Committee. And then Elizabeth Lund gave me the key to open it up. And when I opened it up, I discovered the lawyers at the Ethiopian Air, Indonesian Air, and even Alaska didn't dig this up. They said there were hiccups in the quality, whatever. They didn't do their job. They didn't have Daryl Gilberman to dig because, well, they hoodwinked me a little bit too, because I saw them on the Management System Accreditation Committee. I said, wow, they must be. Until Elizabeth Lund, June 27, 2024, gave me the key to open this shit up. When she said, Boeing is willing and prepared to get AS9100. That means from July 2002, when they mandated AS9100, ANAB accredited, all the way through to June 2024, they built 12,000 commercial aircraft that when you sit on it this Thanksgiving, you're sitting on one of those airplanes without a doubt that was built under an uncertified system, and the FAA kept quiet. ANSI ANAB kept quiet. The DOJ said Boeing lied to them. Boeing lied to the FAA about the implementation of MCAS. Let me tell you something. They overlooked it because the DOJ, remember what I told you, they're not just a member, they're a customer. And Boeing didn't have to tell the FAA anything because in 2009, the FAA made Boeing an agency of the FAA. Don't you want self-certify? Self-certify it as if you're FAA. They made some of Boeing employees, Boeing/FAA inspectors, getting paid by Boeing. That means the CEO is an administrator of the FAA. Self-certify your own aircraft technologies like the MCAS system and aircraft designs. When the DOJ bullshitted us, just like the FAA did, just like the FDA does, they all sit on ANSI ANAB's board, by the way. It was a problem. The problem is that Boeing never had to tell the FAA of the implementation of the MCAS system. Many of you will try to belittle me, besmirch me, say that I'm wrong. I've been involved with quality for 40 years. I went down to Washington 3 times. I went out to Washington State to confer what happened with Elizabeth Lund. She bullshitted Reuters. There was not one employee I asked at Everett, Renton, Auburn, and Northfield, I almost spent a month there, that knew what AS9100 was, that knew what type of internal auditing was of AS9100 or any audit. And then they called me over and they said, you know, Daryl, my boss won't let me get off the aircraft to go to these training sessions because they said that we're going to be late to delivery. They will probably say, that guy, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Let me tell you something. I most certainly do. I spent a month almost out there. My number is 203-556-1493, and I warn you, get on an Airbus. Am I saying that it's any better? No, but it's an alternative. That's why I'm telling you. I thank you.